A man in China has been reunited with his family more than 3 decades after being abducted as a child. On Monday, Mao Yin embraced his parents for the first time in 32 years.
Child abductions and trafficking have long been a problem in China. There are still more than 51,000 people searching for their missing children.
Losing your loved one and never knowing when or if you'll ever see them again is heartbreaking, to say the least. But some individuals never give up even after years. Whether it's fate, luck, or sheer will, these are some of the most heartwarming moments of family reunions. Vera Daisy Brown, an ordinary mother of 3, vanished without a trace, leaving her family in a state of limbo for 32 long years. Her sudden disappearance shattered their world, leaving behind only fading photos and unanswered questions. For decades, her children Gwen and Ray grappled with the reality of not knowing where their mother was or why she had left. Initially, there were some clues, like how she went on a vacation with a mysterious man in Brisbane. Confusing letters, but those soon evaporated, leaving Gwen and Ray to report their mother missing and hope for the best. And authorities could offer little solace, as finding someone who chose to disappear seemed like an impossible task. The passing years brought a plethora of emotions: anger, sadness, and the persistent hope of reunion. Then, in 2004, a glimmer of hope emerged as police located Vera after the passing of the man who had kept her hidden away for so long. As Vera's children and grandchildren made their way to her doorstep, nerves tingled with anticipation. Tears flowed freely as decades of separation melted away, replaced by the warmth of forgiveness and the joy of reunion. Despite everything that happened in the past, Vera's family chose to embrace her with open arms, letting love triumph over years of uncertainty and loss.
It's good to see you too, Stephen.
Lost family. Forced into labor as a young maid in Saigon to support her impoverished family, Kim was brought to America under false pretenses, only to find herself trapped in a prison of isolation. But Kim's spirit refused to be broken. With courage and resourcefulness, she engineered her escape, using a desperate ruse to break free from captivity and start anew in a distant state. For years, she searched in vain for traces of her lost family, her past shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. Then, a breakthrough, a clue from the son of the family who had brought her to America, leading Kim to Kyle, a compassionate soul determined to help her find her way home. He traced her down, and after losing her family for 43 years, she finally was able to embrace her sister. And after meeting all of them, only one person was left: her mother. Kyle took her to where she lived, and even before she could say a single word, her mother knew that her long-lost daughter had returned. Well, that's the love and compassion of a mother. Twin strangers. Amy Kvitia and Ano Sartanya, 2 identical twins born in Georgia, were separated at birth because their biological mother was falsely informed that they had not survived, whereas in reality, the twins were sold to different families who were unaware of this. One day, Amy spotted Ano on a TV talent show at the age of 12. Little did they know, fate had more surprises in store for them. Years later, in November 2021, a seemingly ordinary TikTok video posted by Amy with her newly dyed blue hair and pierced eyebrow sparked a series of events that would reunite the twins. Ano, who lived 200 miles away, received the video from a friend and realized the striking resemblance to herself. They connected through social media and simultaneously wrote to each other, "How long I had been searching for you." They arranged to meet for the first time in the Tbilisi metro, where they were overwhelmed by the uncanny similarities between them. Neither Ano nor Amy knew until they found their identical twin that they were adopted. Their adoptive parents kept this secret from the girls, although even they were not aware that their adoptive children had identical twins. Long-lost siblings.
How are you?
At that same hospital.
Christina Sadberry had been searching for her real family for over 10 years, only to find out that her brother had been literally right next to her the whole time. Christina grew up in Austin, Texas, and she started looking for her birth family in 2006. She found her birth mom, but didn't know much about her dad or if she had any brothers or sisters. Then, in 2021, her brother Raymond got a big surprise for Christmas: a DNA test. Raymond lived in Hempstead, Texas, and he never knew he had a sister. But when his test results came back, they showed he had a sister, Christina. He was shocked at first, thinking it must be a mistake. But after talking to her online, he realized it was true. Here's where it gets really wild. Raymond and Christina had probably seen each other before, but didn't know it. They both spent time at Cook Children's Hospital, where Raymond worked in a music studio. Christina's son went there for checkups, and they literally walked by each other multiple times. Then, one special day in March 2022, they finally met face to face at the hospital. When Raymond saw Christina, he couldn't hold back his tears. And Christina was crying too. It was a moment they'd both been waiting for, and it finally happened. 10,000 families reunited. In June 1983, Korean broadcast station KBS News broadcast a special to help reunite displaced family members. It was reportedly the first time a television program had been used to reunite families separated by a war. The entire program was meant to go on for about 45 minutes. But after an incredible outpouring of Koreans seeking help finding their relatives, it ended up lasting for 138 days and a total of 453 hours. And as this short video shows, it might just be one of the most powerful moments in television history. Parents reunited with children, brothers and sisters seeing each other for the first time in decades. It's incredibly powerful, to put it lightly. So much time had passed that participants were required to state a number of facts to confirm their identities and relations. But sometimes, none of that was necessary. In one exchange, the network says, "We have a woman who says she's your mother." Seen on a split screen, the younger man responds emotionally, "That's her! I would never forget my mother's face." Then, the two burst into tears and were reunited.
어머니가 나오시는데 어머니를 좀 보시죠.
네, 어머님하고 좀 말씀 나눠보세요. 어머님하고 확실하세요?
원망 많이 했지. 쟤를 다 어떻게 할지 모르겠어.
Like I said, incredibly powerful stuff. So much so that over 100,000 Koreans signed up to participate as the show carried on for more than 1/3 of an entire year, reuniting families. Lost and love. The incredible journey of Guo Gantang, a father who refused to give up on finding his lost son, is a testament to the power of unwavering love and determination. For 24 long years, Guo tirelessly searched for his son, who had gone missing right outside their home in Shandong province. Despite the heartbreak and countless setbacks, he never lost hope, tirelessly filling missing reports and collaborating with law enforcement to find his beloved child. His quest led him on an extraordinary journey, spanning over 311,000 miles on a motorbike, encountering numerous challenges and obstacles along the way. Despite the immense difficulties, Guo remained steadfast in his determination to reunite his fractured family. Finally, after years of relentless searching, the breakthrough came when China's Ministry of Public Security utilized DNA tracking to locate Guo's son. The emotional reunion that followed was a moment of pure joy and relief, as Guo and his wife were finally able to embrace their long-lost son once again. This remarkable story of perseverance and resilience has touched the hearts of many and inspired a movie in 2015, highlighting the extraordinary lengths a father would go to reunite his family. Guo's unwavering commitment to finding his son serves as a powerful reminder of the boundless love between a parent and child. 20 years later. Benjamin Hulleberg, a 20-year-old substitute teacher, had always known he was adopted by his loving parents, Angela and Brian Hulleberg. However, the mystery surrounding his birth mother, known only as Holly, lingered in his mind. Despite the lack of information, Benjamin harbored a deep desire to meet his biological mother one day, grateful for the opportunities his adoption had afforded him. Little did he know, Holly Shearer shared the same longing. She had placed Benjamin up for adoption on Thanksgiving Day in 2001, when she was just 15 years old. The journey to reunite Benjamin and Holly was filled with twists and turns. The adoption agency closed in 2014, which meant they couldn't trace back the data. Benjamin had been actively seeking his birth mother for years, and through social media, they found one another. On November 21, 2021, the long-awaited reunion took place, with both families present. Holly met with Angela and Brian, Benjamin's adoptive parents, before Benjamin arrived. Their initial meeting lasted over 3 hours, filled with emotions and realizations, including the surprising discovery that they had both worked in the same hospital for the past 2 years. Since their reunion, Benjamin has embraced his newfound family, including his younger half-brother and half-sister. He now regularly visits Holly at her office, forging a close bond that has led him to affectionately call her mom as well. Meeting again. Roshani Prittis's journey began at just 6 weeks old when she was embraced into the loving arms of Australian parents Bruce and Narelle Prittis. Growing up in the warm embrace of Tamworth, New South Wales, Roshani pursued her passion for music, harboring dreams of becoming a singer. Yet beneath the surface of her idyllic childhood, Roshani felt a lingering void, often finding solace in photos of her birth mother taken on the day of her adoption. The ache to reunite with her roots persisted, fueled further by her Australian mother's heartfelt wish before her passing in 2010, a wish for Roshani to connect with her biological mother, Violet. After years of searching, news of Violet's whereabouts reached Roshani, and after nearly 3 decades of yearning, Roshani found herself on the brink of an emotional reunion. With serious butterflies fluttering in her stomach, Roshani stood face to face with the woman who had given her life. Amidst tears and tender hugs, Roshani spent precious moments with her newfound family, immersing herself in their shared history and savoring the bittersweet joy of reconciliation. The emotional reunion was filled with laughter, tears, and shared memories as Roshani spent precious moments getting to know her long-lost family, flipping through old photographs and bridging the gap between her past and present.
She's here. It's amazing.
Together at last. As children, Bill and Beryl not only lost their mother, but were also unsure of their father's fate due to the fact it was World War. Stranded in an orphanage, their hopes of being reunited with their father were shattered when tragedy struck the SS Iron Crown, leaving them orphaned and alone. It got worse when Beryl was adopted against her wishes, further fracturing the already fragile family bond. As years went by, they tried to find each other, but fate seemed determined to keep them apart. Then, against all odds, when the wreckage of the SS Iron Crown was discovered, Bill's hope to be reunited with his sister reignited. Through the marvels of modern technology and the dedication of a genealogist relative, Bill finally found Beryl, who was now living under a new name. Their long-awaited phone call was a moment of pure joy and disbelief, culminating in a tearful reunion that defied the decades of separation. Despite the passage of time, their sibling bond remained unbreakable, evidenced by their daily ritual of calling each other and exchanging endearing greetings. Syrian Refugee. In 2017, as conflict engulfed Syria, Adnan Karsa's parents made the tough decision to send him to Malaysia with his grandmother, seeking refuge from everything. Little did they know, it would be the last time they'd see him for years. Forced to flee to Turkey without passports or resources, Adnan's parents and grandfather faced an impossible dilemma: how to reunite with their beloved son stranded halfway across the world. The couple gave birth to a little girl in Turkey, but Manal Karsa said he cried for his son every night. In 2021, Adnan's extended family in Saskatoon, led by his aunt Doha Karsa and a volunteer group called Moms for Refugees, managed to privately sponsor the boy, his grandmother, and his uncle. They had to raise $35,000 for the reunion. And guess what? It happened! The 11-year-old wore a blue suit with a bow tie to the Saskatoon airport to see his parents for the first time in 6 years. The Syrian boy stood nervously at the arrival's gate, clutching a teddy bear and a bouquet of flowers for his 5-year-old sister, whom he'd never met in person. When Adnan's father, Manal Karsa, spotted his son in the airport, he began to run and sob openly. He held Adnan as if he'd never let him go again. Along with Adnan's parents and sister, his grandfather also arrived in Saskatoon and was reunited with his wife.
He was around 5 years old when they were separated.
Son denies family. It's a story that seems torn from the pages of a fairy tale. A long-lost son reunited with his biological parents after 14 years, all while his kidnappers face justice. But as with many tales, reality isn't always so straightforward. In 2007, young Sun Zhou was snatched away from his family in Shenzhen at just 4 years old. His parents, Sun Haiyong and his wife, began a tireless search spanning over a decade, offering a significant reward and even renaming their esteemed bun shop in hopes of finding their son. Meanwhile, Sun Zhuo grew up with another family in Shandong province, miles away from Shenzhen, unaware of his true identity. It wasn't until Chinese police cracked down on a raid that Sun's true origins were revealed. Identified during the operation, Sun Zhuo's DNA confirmed his connection to his biological family. After 14 long years, Sun Haiyong was finally reunited with his son, a moment filled with both joy and relief. However, within days, Sun Zhuo made the difficult decision to return to his foster family in Shandong. Although they were facing charges, Sun Zhuo cited their love and care over the years as reasons for his choice. The foster family, now under scrutiny, denies any wrongdoing, claiming they were deceived by a relative who presented the child to them. They face the possibility of imprisonment if found guilty, a fate Sun Haiyong believes they deserve. Skate park surprise. Carmen Santiago faced numerous hardships in her life, grappling with money problems and a toxic relationship that weighed heavily on her family. Despite the challenges, she maintained a brave face and persevered as best as she could. Meanwhile, Jeremy Hudson, a 22-year-old, carried a sense of emptiness in his heart. His family life had unraveled, with his sisters Sophia and Tara going their separate ways due to circumstances beyond their control. Sophia lived with her father, while Tara was adopted by family friends. Fortunately, Jeremy found solace in a loving adoptive family who shared with him the story of his biological mother, Carmen Santiago. Throughout the years, he never stopped yearning to reconnect with her, his determination undiminished. A significant breakthrough came when Jeremy's adoptive mother stumbled upon a binder containing his sister's father's name. The discovery set off a chain of events that led Jeremy to find both of his sisters on Facebook, all residing in Georgia. Their long-awaited reunion took place at a skate park in Douglasville, captured on video by Tara. As Santiago walked through the park, she heard a familiar voice calling out to her, "Hey Mom, watch me!"
Mom, watch me.
The moment must have been overwhelming for Santiago, who had endured the heartache of parting with her children. Despite the pain of separation, all 3 children harbored no resentment towards their mother, understanding that she had made difficult decisions out of love for them. 3 sisters reunited.
It's so nice to see you, really.
Christine Rose's childhood wasn't all that easy. When at the age of 4, social services intervened and separated her and her 2 younger sisters from their mother. The memory of that fateful night still lingers with Christine, now 68 years old, who has spent a lifetime yearning to reconnect with her sisters and uncover the missing pieces of their shared past. One day, Christine stumbled upon a news article from 1955 while browsing her local library. The article shed light on the reasons behind their separation, revealing allegations of neglect against their mother due to dire living conditions, and the children's desperate attempts to fend for themselves by eating raw potatoes and using floorboards as firewood. Despite the heart-wrenching revelations, Christine's primary focus remained on reuniting with her sisters and hoping they would remain together after her own adoption. Miraculously, fate intervened, and the 3 sisters were brought back together after 63 years apart. Learning that Catherine and Carol had been adopted together at a young age filled Christine with hope and anticipation. Remarkably, Catherine and Carol had also been tirelessly searching for Christine for the past 2 decades, further underscoring the depth of their bond and shared longing for reunion. When the long-awaited moment finally arrived and the 3 sisters embraced each other, the room was filled with tears of joy and overwhelming emotion.
We're back together now. Yeah. It's exciting.
Veteran surprising. Here, I've got a bunch of videos for you that will surely warm your heart and make you all teary-eyed. It's veterans coming back home after serving their countries. And let's be honest, who doesn't like to see that? A U.S. veteran got the surprise of a lifetime when he opened his front door and found his old buddy from Iraq standing there. Sean Dodd and Jesse Burr hadn't seen each other much since their time in the military, but Jesse traveled all the way from California to Sean's home in Washington for his birthday. They served together back in 2003 and shared some tough times, losing friends in action. Over the years, they stayed connected, supporting each other through thick and thin. Jesse even sent Sean a special handmade flag. Daniel Atwood, a Marine on deployment, surprised his sister Sarah by showing up at her wedding in Charlotte, North Carolina, despite earlier indicating he couldn't make it. Sarah, who considers her brother her best friend, was deeply moved by his unexpected appearance. She had cried the night before due to his absence. When Daniel arrived in his uniform on the wedding day, it was a heartwarming moment for Sarah. Marine Tanner Watson returned home to Great Falls, Montana after a 9-month deployment, catching his mom, Tiffany Kreidman, completely off guard. Despite telling his mom he wouldn't be back until January, Tanner orchestrated a family gathering at a local restaurant for the reunion. Sneaking up behind her, Tanner gave his mom a massive hug, prompting a startled reaction before she realized who it was. Tears flowed as they embraced, with applause from other guests witnessing the touching moment. It was a joyous reunion for the family, marking the end of Tanner's deployment and the beginning of precious family time together. Eight siblings. When Richard Young, a 60-year-old Singaporean, discovered he was adopted,
and I asked the question, why was it that on the mother's name side, it's actually not my adopted mother's name? And I vaguely remember it was kind of just passed off and said, yeah, it was a mistake at the registrar.
A few questions popped up in his mind. Who am I? Why was I given away? Why wasn't I wanted? These questions lingered with him since he was 27 years old.
The questions that I have growing up, after I knew that I was adopted, was who am I?
Despite this swirling uncertainty, he chose to prioritize caring for his mother, postponing his search for his biological family until after her passing. His mother told him more information about his biological family. Their family name was Wong, and they lived in the Dakota area with their many children. In November 2021, while browsing online obituaries, Richard had a revelation. Perhaps this method could lead him to his long-lost mother. His efforts led to a list of Wong family members, including someone he knew, Tom Wong, who turned out to be his former boss in the armed forces. Astonishingly, Richard discovered that a mutual friend, Joseph, was related to Tom. He was his uncle. The prospect of meeting his long-lost siblings filled Richard with excitement, although he was unsure of their reception. After a brief wait, Joseph confirmed that the Wong siblings eagerly anticipated meeting Richard. The siblings arranged a lunch meeting at Wong Ming Chi's, Richard's oldest brother, where they joyously welcomed their youngest sibling back into the fold. And I welcome you into liking this video and subscribing to my channel, because it's not easy translating different languages. So yeah, a lot of research on my part. Kidnapped woman returns. Melissa Highsmith, formerly known as Melanie Miyoko, had a feeling something wasn't quite right while growing up. Having 2 brothers, her childhood felt different and sheltered. Her relationship with the woman she believed to be her mother was troubled, leading to her to run away at just 15 years old. little did she know this relationship was a result of a heartbreaking truth she would only discover 38 years later. In a shocking revelation, Melissa learned that the woman who raised her wasn't her real mother at all. She was kidnapped at 21 months old from her home in Fort Worth, Texas. It all started innocently enough when her real mother, Alta Abantenko, placed an ad for a babysitter in the local paper. Tragically, someone posing as a babysitter responded to the ad and abducted Melissa. Melissa's biological father, Jeffrey Highsmith, made a breakthrough in the search for his daughter when he took a DNA test. His results showed a connection with one of Melissa's children, leading to the emotional reunion of long-lost siblings.
Through her children. My mother and father submitted it to Ancestry, and 3andMe, and 3 weeks within them submitting it, we found my sister. It was like boom, boom, boom.
Now reunited with her loving parents and 4 devoted siblings, Melissa is looking forward to the future. Despite the decades that have passed, her family plans to meet with authorities to explore the possibility of pressing charges against the woman they believe abducted her. This one really made me sob. Let me know in the comments which of these stories did that to you. Family once more. Hong and Bo's lives were dramatically altered by the reign of Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge, leading to a heart-wrenching separation that spanned decades. The sisters' lives took very different paths after their separation. Bo has been living in the Kampong Chnang area of Cambodia, where she is a rice farmer. She hasn't been back to Phnom Penh since childhood. Hong left the country altogether and has been living in the Texas area of the US, where she runs a donut shop. But both their lives have been defined by the losses.
How are you feeling today?
Excited.
Hong discovered the show It's Not a Dream on YouTube and made an appeal. She came to Cambodia, spending almost all of her savings to place all her hopes in the reality TV show that's transforming lives. Several months later, she was contacted by the show inviting her to fly out and appear on the program, but they hadn't told her why. Bo doesn't remember anything about her childhood. The whole experience has been so unbelievable that she has clearly shut the whole thing out. But the man who took her in 40 years ago remembers it all well, so he reached out to the producers of the show upon hearing Hong's plea, setting the stage for an emotional reunion. And it was! There wasn't a single dry eye in the entire studio! And that's not all. The show even brought out their mother, who revealed she had been looking for them for 40 years! Alright, now that's enough to make a grown man cry. Rescue girl. Adrift at sea, Desiree Rodriguez's family's boat capsized, with only her orange life jacket and the bow of the boat to cling to. She witnessed her family members go one by one. But just when all seemed lost, a beacon of hope emerged on the horizon. A commercial sport fishing boat spotted Desiree's presence, pulling Desiree from the brink of despair and offering her a chance at life. Following her rescue, Desiree was transported back to San Pedro, where she received medical attention. However, her connection with her rescuers, Paul Strasser and Mark Pisano, was lost over time, and they parted ways without the chance for proper farewells.
You mind if I say something to you? You guys are heroes, right?
Years later, Philip Friedman's Friedman Adventures podcast would serve as the catalyst for a remarkable reunion.
I don't know, he just kind of gave up. He just basically swam away from the boat. And he's like, I just don't want to be here anymore, basically.
A featured episode recounting Pisano's tale of the 1986 rescue stirred a memory in listener Pablo Peña, prompting him to reach out to Friedman with crucial information. With Desiree's consent, Friedman orchestrated a surprise reunion between her and her rescuers, capturing the emotional encounter for his podcast. For Desiree, the reunion offered closure and the opportunity to express her heartfelt gratitude to the men who had saved her life all those years ago. Now that she's met them, she hopes to stay connected forever.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Vietnam veteran.
Right here in front of my dad's house, and I'm about to see it. Oh my God, can you hold this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
A Vietnam veteran, Bob Andron, finally met his Amerasian daughter, Linda Throng, for the first time in 50 years. Bob, now 77 and residing in Haverhill, Massachusetts, was stationed in Vietnam as a sergeant with the United States Air Force between January 1970 and January 1971. During his time there, he was legally married to Lynn, Linda's mother. However, the end of Bob's service in Vietnam marked the beginning of a long and uncertain separation from Lynn and their unborn child.
Linda was born after I left Vietnam. I had been married to her mother, and her mother was 6 months pregnant when I was forced to leave and come back to the United States.
Without Lynn's Vietnamese last name and faced with the challenges of communication in a pre-digital age, Bob lost all contact with his wife and daughter upon returning to the United States. In May 2021, Bob received an unexpected phone call from genealogist Christine Mays, who specializes in reuniting veterans with their lost biological family members. Through Christie's efforts, Linda, now 51 and living in the United States, had been searching for her American father. Matching Bob's family name to a birth certificate, Christie facilitated a conversation between Bob and Linda, allowing them to verify their relationship and connect after years of separation.
Yes! Oh my God! Yes.
With doubts cleared and Father's Day approaching in 2021, Bob and Linda made the decision to meet in person. Their emotional reunion was captured on Facebook Live, a moment that was shared by both families and witnessed by viewers around the world. Mother's Day gift. In this touching video captured by Jenna Miller, you will see a truly heartwarming moment as her son orchestrates a surprise visit for Mother's Day. As the video begins, Jenna walks up to the back of the car, unaware what is about to happen. Her son appears, catching her completely off guard. The look of shock and delight on Jenna's face is priceless. As their eyes meet, a flood of emotions washes over them both. It's a beautiful sight to behold, the pure happiness and love shared between a mother and her child. It's time for today's open discussion. Snatched away from his family in 1988 at the age of 2.5, Mao Yin's disappearance plunged his parents into a desperate search that spanned over 3 decades. His mother, Li Jinji, devoted her life to finding her son, quitting her job and tirelessly distributing over 100,000 flyers while appearing on numerous television shows in a relentless pursuit of answers. After years of agonizing uncertainty, a glimmer of hope emerged in late April of 2020 when authorities received a crucial tip-off. Utilizing modern technology, including facial recognition and DNA testing, they pieced together Mao's identity, confirming his whereabouts. On May 10th, Mother's Day in China, the long-awaited news finally reached Li. Her son had been found! Just a week later, amid a crowd of onlookers and television cameras, Mao was reunited with his tearful parents in Xi'an. The emotional reunion, filled with tears of joy and overwhelming relief, saw Mao running into his mother's arms as the door opened, embraced by the love he had been separated from for so long. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know which one made you teary-eyed and share your experiences in the comments below. And as always, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Take care.